Hey everyone, welcome back to Groschel Homestead. And as you can see, this time of year in the Catskills is sugaring season. We're all making maple syrup, so if you see any buckets or the blue lines running through the woods, everybody's tapping their maple trees to make that sweet maple syrup. So we like to put up some lines on quite a few, couple hundred taps, but we also like to bring it back to our roots of the old bucketing days. Plus the kids really enjoy getting involved and being able to harvest sap the old-fashioned way instead of it going into a large tank. So right here yesterday, we tapped and we got some sap flowing to our buckets. And we're gonna show you how to do this. So now we're gonna tap our maple tree. This size maple tree we can get 3 buckets on. We like to use these spiles. There's plastic, all different kinds. You can get any of your supplies locally, Shaver Hill, Mountain View Maple, Tractor Supply. They all have little sections. So we like using these metal. We have a 7/16 bit. We're gonna go about 2 inches deep into the tree, and then we're gonna tap these in and hang our bucket. So Grace is here to help us. So we're gonna put this in. I'm gonna drill. So here's our hole, and we have nice sap coming out of there. So now George is gonna tap it in place inside the tree. All right, now we're gonna hang up our bucket. And then this is music to our ears. So ideal times for sap making is when your daytime temps are nice and warm and your nighttime temps are below freezing. I'll show you a little diagram, but essentially the sap runs up during the warm day temperatures up the tree and then back down at night. This allows the sap to run through the tap holes you made, so into your lines or buckets. So here we have some lines here on the homestead. And as you can see, it is running today because it's a beautiful 50 degrees and it was nice and cold last night. So our lines run all the way down to a main collecting point, which I'll show you. Okay, so here we have our 3 lines we have here directly on our homestead running in to our homemade pump system, as you can hear. So it's gonna flow right into here and then down into the tank, which is right below here. And as you can see, we dumped this out last night into our main holding tank. It is running real good this morning. So you're probably wondering, why do we need hundreds of taps to make some maple syrup? Normally it takes about 40 gallons of just the sap, the clear sap out of the tree, to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. Now that doesn't always how it goes. Sometimes it's even higher, 50 or 60 gallons to make 1 gallon of maple syrup, which is why you're here, us maple syrup makers, it is a labor of love for sure, because it does take some time to boil that all down and make your maple syrup. Now that is all it takes to make maple syrup, folks. You just get the sap and just boil it down, boil it down, boil it down, and then you're going to get some maple syrup. So after tapping and then collecting the maple syrup, we put ours on a big evaporator. Now ours is nowhere near what some of the other people in the area have size-wise in the Northeast, but we do have a 2x6 pan, and the sap makes its way through and then finally gets drawn off into maple syrup. Like I said, we use a hydrometer, so let's take a look at what that looks like. So how do you know when your syrup is done? So we use a hydrometer, something like this. This is an antique one, but you want to have it when it's hot at 66 Brix is where it will float. So we have like a little test cup, you drop this in. Or if you're just doing it small on your stove or just outside on a turkey fryer, you want it to be 219 degrees. Then you're gonna pull that off and immediately filter it. There's a bunch of different like cone filters. People do multiple layers of cheesecloth. The cone filters work the best. It's like a felt type fabric. We noticed that gets all the sediment out of our syrup really nice. Now, once you filter it, your temperature is going to drop back down and you'll want to can it in something, whether it's glass mason jars or the plastic jugs that you picked up at the store for maple syrup. And you want that to be bottled at 180 degrees or no higher than 190. If you're below or above that, that's when you'll see the sugar sand on the bottom, the sediment on the bottom, and or it will grow sugar crystals on the bottom. Either one does not harm you. It just takes away from the clarity. And in my mind, the crystals on the bottom are fun to chisel out and eat. So I hope that helps. So here we have some bottled up, all ready to go, nice and clear. Like I said though, anything on the bottom, whatnot, perfectly fine to still eat. Once you open it, be sure to store it in your refrigerator. And just so you know, maple syrup is not just for pancakes. Don't forget to add it in to your coffee in the morning or on your ice cream at night. I hope you enjoyed this episode of maple syrup making. Feel free to stop by your local sugar shack to learn more about maple syrup making. Find us on Facebook, and if you'd like, stop on in when we're boiling. See you next time.